Hello, in this video I'm going to use OpenStreetMap data in order to get some buildings for my chosen area. Once I've done that, I'm going to convert them from .osm into feature classes. I'm going to view them in 2D, and then once I'm happy with them, I'm going to bring them into a 3D scene. Okay, a quick recap then. In an earlier video, I went on to openstreetmap.org, selected my area, and exported that data. It popped up at the bottom asking me where I wanted to save that data, and I saved it into a folder. What I saved was a file that I'd called Newbury Racecourse.osm. Be aware this is an OSM file. You won't be able to see it in ArcGIS Pro without carrying the following steps. In order to do that, you're going to need the data interoperability license. So I hope you've got that. Okay, let's see what we've done. So before we look at this, we'll just check the workflow quickly. So I'm going to select geoprocessing, and I'm going to search through my geoprocessing tools, and I'm going to type import. And that I'm going to use this data interoperability tool, quick import. When I double click on that, I'll just get an input and an output, and that's all I need to fill out. So clicking on input, I'm going to select the top drop down and the top option, so OpenStreetMap, and I'm going to click the three dots and select my OSM file that I've just downloaded. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to leave coordinate system blank in this option this time, and I think it's going to be WGS84. Don't quote me on that. Click OK, that fills out the top, and then it'll automatically give you an output geodatabase. This doesn't exist yet, it's going to be created. Just click on the little folder to see where that's going to save and make sure it's in the right place. So I'm going to save mine there, and I'm going to call it Newbury Racecourse. And I've already done that, so you can just call it whatever you want. I've already run this process once. So that's going to give you a file geodatabase that is within your project workspace. Okay, so that'll take a minute, it'll run, and then you'll get something like this. So you'll get a geodatabase containing all of those feature classes. What you should do is spend some time adding as many of those as possible into your map, symbolizing them in different ways in order to understand how good the data is for your area. Obviously, OpenStreetMap's going to vary by area depending on who's collated that data and how accurate it is. So in this example, I'm just going to pull in building polygon. Okay, I've already converted my map to British national grids. I think the standard is WGS84 for when you pull in OpenStreetMap data. If you're working somewhere in the world, then convert it to the correct coordinate system. But all I've done is click on properties and change coordinate system to British national grid. Okay, so you'll have a look at your area, you'll work out the coverage. Maybe you've got more buildings than me, maybe you've got less, just a demo. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to convert this from a 2D map to a 3D map. And I'm going to do that by clicking on the View tab, clicking Convert, and I'm going to choose Local Scene. Okay, once your local scene opens, you can have a look at it. Obviously, you can either use the navigator down on the bottom left, or you can just use your mouse wheel, zoom in, pan round. Now, straight away, you're going to notice you're just looking at mapping, if it's the same as mine, and all of those buildings are flat. So what we're going to need to do is give them some height. But the first thing I'm going to do is change the background imagery. So I'm going to click on Map, click on Base Map, and I'm going to choose Image. Okay, once that imagery is loaded, we can go about extruding our buildings to give them some height. In order to do that, make sure you've selected the 3D scene, and in the table of contents, click on Buildings. Up here, you get this feature layer section will appear. Click on Appearance, and you've got this box here called Extrusion. If you click on Type, you've got several choices, and it's worth having a read about all the different options. I'm going to choose Min Height. Give it a second, and then once it's loaded, you can either do it by one of these numbers or click expression. Okay. Now, at this stage, if you did have a height attribute that was all filled out, you could double click on that, hit OK, and all your buildings would pop up to the right height. And that's really useful if you've got data that's been well attributed. I haven't, so I'm just going to go with the default for this example. I type a number in there, that's going to be the height in meters. So I click OK and watch all these buildings pop up in 3D. Okay, so there we can see we've got some shape files or feature classes. They've all been extruded to 5 meters at all the same height. That's how you do that. Okay, so at this stage, we'll all agree this scene doesn't look very realistic, and there's a lot more work we can do to really make this more accurate. Things that are missing at the moment, none of the buildings are the right colours, they don't look like the buildings, they don't have the right roof types, and none of them are the correct height. So in future videos, we're going to sort that out. But that's just a demonstration of how to get OpenStreetMap data, convert it to feature classes, bring it into ArcGIS Pro, and then convert it to 3D and extrude it. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for the next video.